Level 90. Pamaka, the Scrivener. Pamaka's gaze is fixed upon you. A very warm welcome to you, artisan from afar. Zilly, was it? You stand before pistols by Pamaka, and I am Pamaka herself. Charmed though I am by your interest in my shop, I would like to confirm one matter. Tell me, can you read? Rarely. I live for literature. Of course, writing on the other hand. Raleigh script? I doubt it. As do I. Why, just the other day, I was so immersed in my reading that I accidentally walked off the pier and immersed myself in High Tide Harbor, but I digress. We of Tiliolol speak to Raleigh with aplomb, yet it is comparatively young language. As our traditional tongues place emphasis in oral storytelling over the written word, we have sizable population of citizens who do not read or write. My services cater primarily to this clientele. I offer a writing hand when occasion demands, mostly for penning letters or official documents. Well, she's a scrivener, yes. However, I have just recently received a commission for something larger, a book of stories. These are tales which have never before been committed to text. Apparently I can't read. Documentation of oral storytelling, a most riveting prospect, is it not? Alas, I find myself ill-prepared. While I possess paper required for simpler documents, I have no experience in binding tomes. Regular Bartleby, aren't you? Yet with the skill of an adept weaver at hand, I could accept this task with my head held high. What say you, traveler? Will you help me tie these tales together? Fear not, I'll cover you. A job's a job. Cover, haha, very funny. Book joke. Book joke. Much obliged, and let us report to our client and officially accept his request. His name is Wachumeqimeqi, and he works at Jabaljov. I cannot pronounce any of these words. The restaurant by the beach. I'll need a moment to close up shop, so would you go ahead and wait for me? Where are we going? Restaurant. Oh, is he upstairs? Of course he is. Ah, Pamaka, welcome. Good evening, Wachumeqimeqi. I am pleased to say that we are ready to undertake your commission. Tilly here will be binding your books, and my intuition tells me that none would be better suited to the endeavor. It's excellent news, the more the merrier. But where are my manners? My name is Wachumeqimeqi. I'm relatively new to Tiliolol, but I've been earning my keep as a waiter here since I arrived. WLT is a haven for travelers from every region, and there's one thing I've learned in my short time here, it's that everyone's got a story to tell. From myths and legends to folktales and anecdotes, our patrons share their nigh-endless supply of unique and fascinating tales. Inevitably, one regular or another will badger me into retelling an old favorite, so I try to memorize as many stories as are told. But memory has its limits, and I'm afraid the details from so many different narratives might eventually become jumbled or forgotten, which is why I thought to record them in a book for all to enjoy. Of course, my people pass down our traditions via the spoken word, so I neither read nor write. Pamaka may be an exception among Tonawalta in that respect. Wachumeqimeqi will tell his stories, and I will transcribe his words, no different than the dictation of a letter, except perhaps a bit longer. Also thought I might study my letters while you're both hard at work. I'd like to be able to read the books we make after all. Well, that's good. You should join us during transcription if you'd like. Hearing each story might serve as inspiration for its binding. They're fascinating stories, all. I can't wait to see them as books. Check them out. When would you like to begin? My schedule is relatively open right now, so I am available whenever you please. And I'll pay your stall a visit once I finish my shift. It shouldn't be too long now. We will have our transcription sessions here. I have readied plenty of parchment and ink, so you needn't worry about that. However, there are still a few more preparations to be made before Zimowini's arrival, and your own business may call you elsewhere in the meantime. Stop by again when you are ready to begin. Level 90, Pamika the Scrivener, complete. Should have everything I need already for this. Epistles by Pamika, Wachumeqimeqi deliveries unlocked. You may now undertake deliveries for Epistles by Pamika. Speak with Pamika to learn more. Level 90, Hanu Opportunities. Pamika's quill is primed and ready. You seem eager to start, and I'll admit, so am I. According to my research, will require numerous components, boards, covers, woven cords, the list goes on. Furthermore, binding can be made of nearly anything, wood, cloth, leather, the possibilities are endless. I'll leave the particulars to you and your artistic taste. Once you have enough materials prepared, we will ready to document Zimowini's tales. Request accepted, Wachumeqimeqi deliveries. You may now undertake deliveries for Epistles by Pamika. By delivering the requested items to Pamika and raising yourself in her esteem, you will be able to buy new stories for Zimowini. Items with a higher collectability will result in greater rewards upon delivery. Speak with Pamika to view the delivery list. Okay. Class quest. Wachumeqimeqi handcrafted cover components. I'm believing this is the first one, so let's do this. These are all 90s, right? I think we can just do like an under 90. Instant under 90. What were we doing before? 91 to 95, 80 durability. Probably could have just used instant 90. Oh, macros. Ooh, I probably should check my crystal count. I don't know how good we are on them after having done all the splendorous tools. But I guess we'll find. Crafting. This one should go quick. I mean, I don't know. It kind of depends on the dialogue, doesn't it? think we'll do fishing next. That could take a while, though. All right, turn these in. How goes the crafting? Liver, my word, I knew you were an accomplished weaver, but your craftsmanship has surpassed every expectation. The finished product will be a sight to behold. Making your first successful delivery, you have begun to earn Pamika's trust. Deliver the items Pamika needs, and deliver them often to bind Zimowini's takes into captivating tomes. Now then, whenever you are ready, Zimowini, we may begin. I think I'll start with a famous tale that has been passed down across generations of Hanu Hanu. It is a tale of their benevolent god and of the crop that would enrich their very way of life. Long, long ago, the Hanu Hanu resided in a land beyond the clouds. Though their heavenly home was frigid, their enemies were few, and they whiled away their days dancing in the pale warmth of the sun. One day, a great storm ravaged these clear blue skies. The wind and rains raged upon those lands so fiercely it sent a pair of Hanu Hanu tumbling down to the waters below. Yet what should appear to be a giant bird as big as an island, it flew up and caught the Hanu Hanu upon its back. The kindly bird sailed upon the winds over the great blue ocean until finally it came to a land kissed by dawn, the land we call Tural. The couple was grateful to stand on solid ground again, but their journey had exhausted them and their energies were spent. They searched high and low for something to fill their empty bellies, and was there they found the great bird once again, feasting upon verdant reeds. Hanu Hanu followed suit. One taste of the sweet reeds filled them with vigor, and their feathers began to glisten with every color of the rainbow. It was then that the couple knew this great bird to be the god Kishalhi. They tended the reeds in its honor, and their brood would grow and prosper, becoming the Hanu Hanu we know today. What do you think so far? Have any inspiration for the suitable cover? Splendid. I suspect Zimowini will have a few more Hanu Hanu stories to tell before we conclude here. We ought to construct our cover in the meantime. With your painstakingly prepared materials, you produce a cover befitting Zimowini's first batch of tales. Carefully bind Pamika's pages into the fold, and the tome is complete. Sort of plain looking. It's a real book. I may not be able to read it yet, but just looking at it fills me with joy. Books are remarkable things indeed. Stories told in speech alone will disappear with their tellers, but what is written is promised to survive. That's my own romanticism showing through. More importantly, I greatly enjoyed your storytelling, Zimowini. About the Hanu Hanu who once lived above the clouds. I'm glad I could learn more about the Hanu Hanu mythology. People called the Vanu Vanu, you say? From your description, they do sound like they might share common roots with the Tural's Hanu Hanu. You enjoyed those tales. I know plenty more like them. For example, the ones I heard the other day from the Pelu Pelu patron were fascinating. Theirs is a people with a talent for words. I have to practice ahead of time if I'm to do them any justice. Please do. We'll be happy to hear them whenever you feel ready. And so ends our first job. You were a pleasure to work with, and I have a feeling you'll continue to impress. Level 90, Hanu opportunities complete. Quest complete, Wachumeqimeqi deliveries. You have delivered requested items. Team level increased. Emika now considers you a cover collaborator. Emika is pleased with your efforts. She now considers you a cover collaborator. Level 93, this little Pelu. Emika is prepared for a Pelu Pelu yarn. This is going to be filled with puns, huh? Greetings, if you're ready to proceed with our next cover, I have an idea I'd like to share. Zima when he said he had Pelu Pelu tales to tell us next, correct? In which case, I thought using material sourced from the Pelu Pelu's ancestral home of Carpenter might give our cover an authentic touch. Book about any given people should look at a home amongst them, or so I think. And it's settled. I trust you'll know just what the local materials we need. Quest accepted. Wachumeqimeqi deliveries. Pelu Pelu cover. Hey. A lot of wasted effort. I wonder if we're going to get like an equivalent to like resplendent tools. I don't guess. We may get an equivalent to like splendorous tools. That takes taking book. One more. All right, Pamaka. We'll require local materials from Urkapacha for our book of Pelu Pelu Tales. Did you find anything? Oh, your elegant use of snow cotton has not gone unnoticed. With it, your cover is bound to radiate Pelu Pelu spirit. I'm telling you, the puns are great. Today, I'd like to share a few stories about the Pelu Pelu. These days, we know them to be avid travelers and seekers of profit, but this was not always so. Long before this nation was founded, the Pelu Pelu were reclusive folk who rarely left the solitude of Urkapacha. Now, in one solitary village, there lived a Pelu Pelu named Sibley. The poor lad was sickly and short of stature, even compared to his diminutive fellows. Such a frail constitution, Sibley could neither work in the fields nor tend to the alpacas. The village loved him even so, and he loved them in turn. They nursed him back to health in his times of need and offered tasks that would not fatigue him. He only wished he could better serve them. Kindness cannot solve all ills, and in the year of the cold summer, crops withered upon the mountains of Urkapacha. The Pelu Pelu began to starve. Aw. They ate what remained of their food. They ate all of their frail livestock. Sibley knew that they had to reach their limits and snuck quietly from the village. One less mouth to feed, his people would have more to eat. Finally, he had found a way to help. It's really sad. His mind made up, the poor Pelu made for the sacred mount that he might fade from this world in its silence. As he began to climb, a spirit appeared and forbade him to go any further. Sibley begged the spirit to let him pass and spoke about his village. The spirit was moved by the lad's fervent resolve and bestowed unto him a handful of leaves. Return to your village, it said. Your people must drink of these leaves. Sibley obeyed and steeped the leaves in hot water. When his people drank, their hunger miraculously faded. No Pelu Pelu succumbed to famine, and they all lived to see the coming year. So it was that the Pelu Pelu first encountered mate tea. Another impeccable book. Thank you, both of you. What a peculiar story. Do spirits like that really exist? What a peculiar story. Of course, there's no telling whether it actually happened, but mate tea is rich in nutrients, and I've heard it's effective in relieving hunger as well. To me, the moral seems to lie in the virtue of caring for one another, that even in times of great difficulty, keeping others in your heart can lead to unexpected solutions. Well, I'd better be off. I still have some reading and writing practice to do, but next time I think I'll share some tales from our moblin customers. See you then. Well, you heard the man. It seems we'll be in for plenty of entertainment yet. Keep your tools sharp. We'll have another project on our hands before we know it. Level 93, this little Pelu, complete. Quest complete, Wachumeqimeqi deliveries. You delivered requested items. Team level increased. Pamaka now considers you a beneficial binder. Pamaka is delighted with your efforts. She now considers you a beneficial binder. Level 95, Olden Roads. Pamaka has moblins on the mind. Ready for more work? I was just thinking about the wonderful job you did with the Pelu Pelu tome. Not only did locally sourced materials enhance the binding's quality from without, it served as an immersive preview of the myths within, and I intend to have us continue this trend. With Moblin's Tale next on the agenda, we'll want to use materials from Kazumauka. Of course, the Hanu Hanu also make a home in that region, so take care to differentiate between their cultures. Tradeswomen of your discernment should have little difficulty, I'm sure. Let me know when you've prepared the components. Quest accepted. Wachumeqimeqi deliveries. Let's find some books. Yay. Mm-hmm. Taking cover. Taking cover. All in all, it's going fairly quickly. I don't understand why they made us go get the materials ourselves. I mean, I don't have any issue with it, but kind of spoiled after the last few expansions allowed they just give you the stuff. Because I did Realm Reborn and Heaven's Word on free trial before they added Stormblood. It was quite a task getting everything done. ARR especially. I had to level everything up just to do the Zodiac weapons. So I wasn't even like level 60, I was like level 50. Right. Ready to deliver. We're to craft a suitable moblin cover will require materials that capture the spirit of Kozamahuka. Why, Zilly, you've outdone yourself. Ginseng wood is an exquisite choice. I feel more eager than ever to start transcribing. As promised, today I bring a number of tales from the Moblins. Theirs is a unique culture, as varied as it is peculiar. Forgive me for interrupting, Zimawini, but won't you be seated? Oh, pardon me, I meant to say something earlier, but at the restaurant we usually recite our stories while standing. That's so, perfectly fine, of course, just so long as you are comfortable. When I say the word moblin, what do you paint in your mind's eye? A mask, a pack, and perhaps most notably a pot. Once upon a time, a group of moblins grew tired of wandering the countryside. They wanted a place to call home, so they settled down in caves deep beneath the earth. They scavenged for what they needed and packed their necessities into large clay pots. Their new home was happy and their pots were plentiful. Too plentiful. Soon their caves grew cramped and narrow. They took up their picks and dug deeper, hoping to expand their domain, and expand they did. Theirs would become one of the largest underground cities of its time. Yet their prosperity would be short-lived. The moblins dug their tunnels so deep and so far they unwittingly breached the gap between land and ocean. The muddy deluge devoured their city. Even their own mask turned against them, filling with water and threatening to suffocate them. In a desperate bid to escape with their lives, the moblins threw themselves into their pots and prayed they might see the coming dawn. Pots withstood the terrible tides, and once the moblins clawed their way to solid ground, they swore never again to live beneath it. So it was that they built a new village in the jungle, fashioning their houses and workshops after the pots that saved both their lives and prized possessions. For the city lost beneath the earth, though its location has long been forgotten, they say it slumbers still in some remote corner of Tyrol, the sunken city of Movopolis. Movopolis? Movopolis? Incredible. I feel it fits the image of the story perfectly. I was moved by the moblins' resilience. The desire for a safe and comfortable home resonated with me. I was moved by their resilience. As was I. They managed to shape their environment to suit their needs, whereas I still struggle to adapt to life here in Tuliolo. Many old Tyrali stories tell of how our peoples first came upon their current homes. The Hanu Hanu tale I shared previously was much the same. My family loves sharing those sorts of tales. What about yours, Pamika? Don't get personal. I was born and raised in Tuliolo, so I've never given my ancestry much consideration. I never thought to ask. How many stories have I failed to hear, and about my own ancestors, no less? Seems to have my own digging to do. If there are untold tales out there, then I wish to know about them. And I would love to hear them, or even read them, perhaps. I've grown more confident in my letters these days. I'm keen to practice with more stories. I hope you find what you're looking for. Level 95, Olden Roads, complete. Quest complete, Wachumeqimeqi deliveries. You have delivered requested items. The steam level increased. Pamika now considers you a talented tailbinder. Pamika is overjoyed with your efforts. She now considers you a talented tailbinder. New quest continuing the story of epistles by Pamika is now available. Upon its completion, the Wachumeqimeqi deliveries list for Pamika will be updated. Level 95, written in stone. Pamika's determined expression suggests she has a plan. After hearing Zimawimi's talk of ancestral tales, I can't help but wonder what my own family may have preserved from generations past. Nearly finished my work for today, so I'll close up shop and go to speak with my parents. They should be able to point me in the right direction, even if it requires an excursion beyond the city limits. Should it come to that, your company would be much appreciated. I rarely leave the city, you see. Thank you. I'll plan to meet you at Equalia Plaza once my family chat is finished. Of course, the last one I go to. Now we wait. Apologies for the wait. My parents were happy to share what they knew about my ancestors. They said our family came to Tiliolo when the city was founded, so around my great-grandfather's time. We originally hailed from Jacques Tarot, though beyond that, neither of my parents could say. Wondered if I might find some clues or mementos buried in the family storehouse, and as luck would have it, I chanced upon a mysterious stone tablet inscribed with glyphs. Judging by its age, it may well have belonged to my great-grandfather himself. We knew he was employed as a palace attendant, but he never divulged more of his work than that. Do the glyphs resemble those of the Tuliolo saga? Perhaps the Yakyoi would be able to read it. Oh yeah, they do that stuff with their graves or whatever. In the Yakyoi's history of both stone and pictorial storytelling, it would indeed follow that this tablet has some connection to them. Why don't we pay the Yakyoi a visit, then? Perhaps someone will be kind enough to translate the tablet for us. You accompany me to Warler's Echo? Wonderful, then let's be off. Doctoral Rukapacha. So this is where the Yakyoi live. Already I see glyphs carved in the same manner as my tablet. I believe we're on the right track. Let's have a look around and see if we can't find someone willing to help. I'll let you take the lead. You have far more practice in communicating with the Yakyoi than I do, after all. Pamika is now accompanying you. Keep her at her side in order to proceed with quest objectives. You can leave Pamika behind by entering a different area, by speaking with her, and selecting the option to part ways. If you wish to have Pamika accompany you again, return and speak with her at the original location. Okay, that's gonna... Young Yakyoi. Your ancestor's tablet. I can only spare a moment, but I'm glad to oblige. Relatively new, dated just 80 years past. Bearer of this stone is a retainer of the Dawn Servant and may thus be accommodated as a guest. A residential permit, it would seem. Those days the scars of war were still fresh. One could not travel as freely as today, so the tablet may have been a necessary precaution. Paperwork. It's gonna be up there. All this way for a tablet? How very quaint. Fine, hand it over. From Tuliolo. Yes, well, let's skip the obvious parts. Here we have the creation of a new alphabet by a traveling man, a learner of Tirali cultures. Makes little sense to me, but that's what it says. Why am I even bothering running? Discuss Koryorzor the Gracious. They say this is where the Valagar Manda was sealed. The tales these walls could tell of the sky ruin, but every building has a story to tell if you think about it. Take ancient ruins, for example. Scholars have spent centuries piecing together the stories of ancient civilizations from beneath the rubble. Even without the written word, we can still weave a tangible history, though I simply can't imagine a world without writing. Drowsy. Read something, of course, but do keep in mind I'm in dire need of a nap. Me too. Looks like the original owner of this tablet shared your keen interest in our glyphs. He came here to hold council with our stonemasons. All Yakyoi learned to write, but they are the experts who etch our histories into stone. As far as what our guests learned from the stonemasons, I couldn't say, too sleepy. Now to piece together the full story. My great-grandfather received permission to live among the Yakyoi in his capacity as a Dawn Servant's retainer. He was traveling the continent of Tyrol in order to create a new alphabet, and he expressed eager interest in the Yakyoi's glyphs. Since the tablet itself is relatively new, perhaps we can still find a stonemason who spoke with my great-grandfather 80 years ago. Shall we go and see? Here we go. Why, yes, I have served as a stonemason these 80 years. How can I help you? Yes, I remember. Not long after Tiliolo's founding, a man bearing this tablet came to stay with us. So my great-grandfather really did come here to study Yakyoi glyphs. Yes, do you remember why? He was developing a new alphabet, as I recall, one to transcribe the Tyrol we speak today. And so he invented the language, the actual written language. Back then, Gulu Jaja had only just succeeded in creating a united Tiliolo. People from diverse nations amassed at the capital, and ensuing linguistic misunderstandings caused no little amount of trouble. The great-grandfather told it when the common language of Tyroli was adopted, he proposed that a new alphabet be created to accompany it, and that the Dawn Servant turned him down in favor of adapting foreign characters. Not only that, but the Dawn Servant then ordered him on a journey of Tyrol, upon which he was to study the continent's myriad cultures. After touring a number of communities, he stopped here to understand our ways. What he wished to learn wasn't simply how to read our glyphs. He asked tirelessly about our intentions when shaping the stone, how we decide our designs, and each step in the process of sculpting. Then one day your great-grandfather turned to us and said he finally understood the Dawn Servant's reasons for rejecting his proposal. Soon after, he returned to Tuliolo, full of new confidence. I had no idea my great-grandfather had such direct dealings with Gulu Jaja. I believe I understand why they both concluded a new alphabet wasn't necessary. That's so, then tell me, child, why do you think that is? Tyroli is a language that exists solely for the purpose of communication. It has no cultural connection to any one of Tyrol's people. But a new alphabet would have been a communal creation, a new piece of Tyroli culture that might have had the power to override others. Borrowing the foreign Eorzean alphabet allows Tyroli to remain a borrowed language, a language of convenience. By refusing to establish Tyroli as a language created by and for all Tyroli people, the Dawn Servant sought to protect our cultural diversity. That's why I think he rejected the proposal. After my great-grandfather traveled the land and arrived here to see your glyphs, he must have finally realized the full significance of his alphabet, and the beauty we might stand to lose because of it. The tablet must have meant a great deal to him. Seems you too now carry on your great-grandfather's discovery and his story. You're right, my great-grandfather's story, a story of my people. I must pin this tale right away. Zilly, might I ask you to bind it for me? I want this book to represent the significance of my great-grandfather's connection to Yakyoi culture, so binding it with local stone would be preferable. You'll find plenty of that right here. Take as much as you need. Thank you, that means a lot to me. I never travel without pen and paper, but this time I even brought my portable desk in case my search for stories proved fruitful. If you could prepare the binding while I write, I would be much obliged. This is 95, right? Yay. I want this binding to properly symbolize my great-grandfather's bond with the Yakyoi. Take all the time you need and return to me when your work is done. A little more elaborate than the previous ones. A written account of my own forebear's story, a precious book indeed. Also included text about the Yakyoi, though using prose to depict your people felt somehow inapposite. Thus, I also included illustrations, clumsy though my hand might be, pictures of the stone monuments and pillars, things my great-grandfather must have seen. I see in your own way you honor how we Yakyoi tell our stories with images. That is a very kind gesture. The written word cannot express all things. This is my great-grandfather's lesson. You have been most gracious in your help. Thank you. I return to Tuliolo with a lighter, prouder heart. My great-grandfather's story is now part of my own. I would say our trip was well worth it. I think I'll lend Wachumeqimeqi the book we made, since he expressed an interest in practicing his skills on new tales. Besides, I think the illustrations might make for an easier reading experience. It was his petition that started this whole project after all. I do hope he enjoys it. And I owe you my deepest thanks. Not only were you kind enough to accompany me to Warlord's Echo, but you gave me perhaps your most stunning cover yet. Now it's back to work for me until Wachumeqimeqi's next appointment approaches. I wish you pleasant crafting. Level 95, written in stone, complete. Level 98, reaching for the sky. Pamika is eagerly awaiting her next commission. Just the person I wanted to see. Our journey to Warlord's Echo gave us countless insights, don't you think? Into my own family history, the Dawn Servants' wish for this nation, and the myriad ways by which our diverse peoples tell their stories. I feel readier than ever to transcribe more tales for Wachumeqimeqi. I really wanted to say readier, given we're doing books. I feel readier than ever. Well, you two look happier than a pair of Ronique in the sun. Has something happened? Wachumeqimeqi, impeccable timing. I'm back from my journey of ancestral discovery and bring with me a freshly pinned tome of family tales. Might I persuade you to read it? It would be my honor. No better way to put my reading skills to use. I also like to make improvements upon my writing, but I suspect it will be some time before I can pen anything like you can. Speaking of, a Mamul Jacques customer came in the other day and entertained us with some wonderful stories. Perhaps we can compile them in a book. Of course, we'll begin our preparations straight away. Cover our Mamul Jacques tome, we ought to include materials from Yaktel. In the meantime, I'll clean my pens and ready our parchment. Yeah, the macros are probably a little long, but these are the ones from Team Craft. And it'd probably overkill because I'm like, I'm all pentamelded, so like high quality crafted gear and pentamelded. So. Look at him reading away. Good boy. Can you read on? Improve his waiter job too if he learns to read and write. You won't have people saying, write this down. No, no, I can remember it. Mm-hmm. Do, 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 do. Fun part. This is the last one we have to do 6 of, right? Because I think the next step is just 1. Almost complete. And we still have to do fishing, and we have to do culinary and alchemist. We do those under. Mm-hmm. 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 Or zero weenie. All right. This next tome, we will need materials from Yaktel, preferably from the Jatuka heartland. Okay, yeah, I don't need any more crafter scripts. What detail you've achieved in your craftsmanship, forgive me for saying so, but your treatment of these Yaktel materials is the most impressive I've seen thus far. Bravo. Brava. Ahem. This tale was told to me by Mummel Jah of the Dobro clan. Dobro have long been known for their skill as mounted warriors, but their mounts were not only meant for warfare. This is an age-old story passed down through generations and generations. There once lived a Dobro youth bound by the creed of his people to seek a land blessed by sunlight. For this elusive paradise, they searched endlessly, fought endlessly. Compared to his warrior friends, however, the youth was ill-suited for battle, and he and his vivre were entrusted not with weapons, but a cart with which to deliver parcels. Would that I could ride a winged mount, the youth thought. Upon it he could reach the thick canopy of the forest and gaze upon the splendor of the sun. Day after day he wandered the forest, hoping to tame a flying beast of his own. Yet his frail physique proved a burden. Again and again he was thrown from the spirited creatures until his comrades laughed to see his fruitless, dogged attempts. Still the youth was determined, and after countless failures he gained mastery over a beast known as Remozaxal. He became the first of his people to sit astride a winged creature. Right away the youth went to his aging parents and taught them how he had achieved this feat, but then leaping upon Remozaxal, he took to the skies. Higher and higher he flew towards the canopy until finally he disappeared. He never returned home again, but it is said he found the land of sunlight his people searched for. Techniques he left would be learned by all Dobro, and to this day it is not uncommon to see riders upon winged mounts, basking in the sunlight upon the wind. A little engine that could. Oh, we're back to plain old books again. What an alluring azure you, like the depths of a cenote untouched by sunlight, or the deep blue sky that the Dobro youth yearned for. Complicated and beautiful color. What sort of impression did you get from the story? I was glad the youth's valiant efforts paid off. I wonder if he found what he was looking for. Perseverance. Instead of spilling blood to gain his promised land, he honed his skills and borrowed a different strength, which bore him away to lands unknown. A praiseworthy story indeed, the kind you hope truly happened. I don't like he got up there and fell off the bird and died. We may never be able to return to the past and discover the truth for ourselves, but we can carry our feelings about them into the future they helped create. Writing a book of tales does just that, I think. It entrusts our hopes and feelings to those who follow after. In other words, if no one carries on those hopes and feelings, they might be lost forever. The stories that I've told and you penned, they are each filled with the history and aspirations of their respective peoples. But my people have not a single written record. Our oral tradition is utterly unknown to those outside our community. Were we to vanish one day, we would leave not a trace of our existence behind. Our stories would... Like, well, tell us your story, dude. Like, Zero Weenie. Pardon me, my shift starts soon, so I should be off. Thank you for the lovely book. Well, wow, going to work all depressed, huh? Level 98, reaching for the sky, complete. Quest complete. Wachumeqimeqi deliveries. You have delivered the requested items. Esteem level increased. Pamika now considers you a blinding authority. Binding authority. Pamika is thrilled with your efforts. She considers you a binding authority. Bound to misread one, right? Level 100, a place in the sun. Concern is writ plain upon Pamika's face. Oh, Zillia's Moemi seemed troubled after our last session, didn't he? He hasn't said a word about his next commission. I fear he may have given up on our bookmaking endeavor. At first, he seemed so excited about sharing the stories. He heard of Jabalov tea, and I wonder how his recitations there are different from our transcription sessions. Here to take a walk with me? I think I should like to see Moemi's performance for myself. Very good. Overcorrect. Oh, is he downstairs now? Pamika, Zillia here for a drink, perhaps? Well, that does sound splendid. We were actually hoping to hear one of your famous recitations. Then I'm afraid your timing is rather unfortunate. We usually wait until our seats are filled before having a tale, so not for some time yet. Oh, that's a shame. What about your next commission? As soon as we know what sort of tales you plan to tell, Zillia can begin assemble the next necessary materials for your new tome's binding. About that. If you have no further tales you wish to share, far be it from me to insist. Don't worry, I still have plenty to tell. The thing is, when I learned of your discoveries, I decided I wanted our next story to be something from my home. The tales are completely unknown to outsiders. Should our oral tradition ever reach its end, our hopes and history would vanish with it, which is why I would preserve what I can with the written record. That sounds like a wonderful idea, and yet you still seem conflicted. My people neither read nor write. Would creating a written book of their stories truly be understanding and honoring their legacy? I mean, you conclude the fact that they don't in the book. Like, when you put it that way, how might we properly convey the stories of a people unassociated with the written word? Let's make a book that can be read without words. Take a page from your great-grandfather's books, Pamika. We'll let her come up with the idea. Picture book. And take a page we shall. I only just finished illustrating a book about the Yakyoi. You don't need to know our written alphabet to read a story from illustrations. But we needn't stop there. What if we incorporated other materials into the book as well? Bird feathers and flowers, things that harken to the setting and appeal to all the senses. We need to devise a way to preserve the materials we choose, but once we do, our readers will be able to immerse themselves in the story without a reliance on the written word. A book that appeals to all senses. I think that might work. I happen to have a few things you can use for the cover, and I can fetch more if you'll give me a moment. Let us all reconvene back at my stall. Once you have the components for our cover, deliver them to me, and we'll hear Moemi's tale. Oh no, what then? Cover components. This is our 80 collectability, right? Level 170 durability. 102 stars. That should. That's our collectibles one. 5, 36 to 180 durability. Could have used this. It's been a while. Not enough CP. You kidding me? Okay, that's fine. We still got it done. With room to spare. This time we need binding for a tome that will awe its reader's senses. Do you have something ready? I'm speechless. These will make our finest cover yet. Of that I have no doubt. Now let us hear Zimawini's story. What an amazing tome you've made. Careful script and illustration, pieces of the natural world as they feature in my story. Reading this will be an unforgettable experience to anyone. I can't wait to take this home and show my family. I'm sure they'll be proud to see our stories reflected in such art. You should perform it for all to enjoy. Can I come and hear you read it at Jabberwock Tea? Perform it for all to enjoy. I don't really want to go to Neforsis though, isn't it? Of course, that was my intention from the very start. I feel more confident than ever in my letters, so I plan to read it aloud from this gorgeous tome as opposed to reciting a memorization. In fact, I'd say our evening regulars will be flooding into Jabberwock Tea soon enough. If you like, you can save your table for you. That would be splendid. Zimawini will be right behind you. At least we get some tacos, right? I don't want to go. Is he upstairs again? Oh, I'm having the worst luck with this. What an ass. Be where I need you to be. You hear that? People are telling all sorts of tales around us. A haven for storytellers indeed. Is it like a poetry jam? Many hero regulars, but everyone is welcoming of fresh faces just so long as you're hungry for new stories. Came for the food, but okay. Hey lad, tell us a story. Would you a new one if you've got it? Right away, I've got just the thing for you, and I think you'll all enjoy it. Tonight I would like to share something personal with you all. Some of you may know that I come from a tradition of oral storytelling, and my people rely not upon the written word. However, should our voices no longer echo in future generations, I fear our very history runs the risk of extinction. Thus did I commission the scrivener Pamika and traveling artisan Zilly with the creation of a book. This is the story of my people. May it warm your heart like the sun upon the plains. Thousand dawns ago, in the eastern reaches of Jacques Tarral, our ancestors lived upon the bountiful land. The soil was rich, and the wind carried with it seeds that flourished into healthy crops. But one summer, a great serpent of cloud coiled above our lands. Beneath its swollen body fell the rain so endless that it drowned our crops and threatened to starve our people. We must call for the sun, someone cried, so our people lifted their prayers to the sky, and they might summon the mighty light. But the serpent heard their voices with anger, lashing out with its tail and driving an even greater deluge upon them. But their fields turned to rivers, our people departed in search of the sun. Day after day they walked and walked, bearing their hunger and thirst until they could no longer. It was then they came upon a solitary cactus. Chasers of the sun, take me with you. I too seek brighter lands. For your hunger and thirst I offer my fruit. In return, sow my seeds upon your path and partake of what they yield. Oh, so they're responsible for all the cacti. People sowed the seeds, and from them grew more and more cacti, each bearing fruit that gifted them strength. For 1,000 nights they pressed onward, westward, planting the cacti and partaking of their fruit. Finally they reached a wide land of sunlight. The cacti grew strong and plentiful beneath the golden rays and spoke to our people once more. We have our gratitude, children of man. This is the land we long dreamed of. Today we revel in this radiant paradise. Tomorrow we shall give up our voices and live to nourish your progeny forevermore. There was the cacti spoke the tongue of man no more, yet our people would continue to care for them and honor them as irreplaceable companions. It was there, alongside the bright sun and thriving cacti, that our people founded a village and lived in peace and comfort for 1,000 tomorrows to come. In our native tongue, Tonawata means sun chaser, but there is no one reason as to why our people are so named. What you just heard is but one explanation, a tale passed down through generations in my village, but ask another Tonawata and you will hear another story. I am not here to insist that ours is the definitive tale, but rather to say that in a small corner of this vast continent there exist a people who believe it to be true. It is my hope that our stories are remembered by many and our words carried forward into the future. Thank you. Yay! Of rain and cacti. What did you think? That's how we usually do our recitations. Whoever has a story to tell stands up there and regales the room. I caught Pamaka on her way out. It seems she can't leave her stall unattended for long, but I assume she's waiting for you there. Zinawini's storytelling prowess is awe-inspiring, isn't it? He set the scene without flaw. I truly felt as though I was journeying along with those cacti. Words are so peculiar, aren't they? When spoken from the soul, they can convey meaning that extends far beyond their written worth. My experiences with you and Zinawini have opened my eyes to the true duty of a scrivener. Going forward, I hope to capture what I hear with more sensitivity and deeper understanding. That's good. Not a matter of simply writing down words, it's about preserving the spirit with which they are spoken, just like we did with our books. My abilities have their limits, however, so for the tales I cannot bind alone, I hope I can count on you. Level 100, A Place in the Sun, complete. Quest complete. Esteemed contributor, Epistles by Pamaka, you have completed all of Pamaka's tasks. Pamaka has gained newfound appreciation for her craft, and she could not be happier with your efforts. She now considers you a connoisseur of covers. There are doubtless others in Wachumeqimeqi who would welcome the aid of an able artisan. Speak with the other merchants and see how you can help. Achievement unlocked. These are their stories.